We're flashing it back on today's mayor's office with the first family of competitive eating. 9-time Nathan's Ladies Hot Dog Eating Champ, Miki Sudo, and her husband, and our pick to be the 2024 Nathan's Men's Division Hot Dog Eating Champ, Nick Wehry.
And I'm in love with the good life. Can't give it up. Make it to the top. Keep climbing. I wanna live it up. The good life. I'm coming up. I'm coming up. The good life. Good life. Oh, good life. Good life. Good life. Good life.
Boom, coming in hot, Chinch, on a Friday. How we doing, brother?
Dude, I have so many questions for the folks we're having on right now, and I cannot
too.
wait. I'm like the biggest fan. I'm like fanboying out, but we got a lot to get to here. What do you got?
Wow, this is a good one, man. Listen, the other day, no one could introduce her as the guy did at the Nathan's Hot Dog Championship the other day. And that was like, you'd have thought she was like the queen of the universe, which was pretty incredible. Number one ranked female competitor eater in the world. Number one ranked female, number 3 in the world of men and women. 9-time, I believe I'm getting this right, 9-time undefeated winner of the Nathan's Hot Dog July 4th Hot Dog Eating Contest, and so many other eating contests in the world. Just the best ever. Love having her on, and her husband, Nick, too. So let's bring in Miki Sudo and her husband, Nick Wehry. What's up, guys? Thanks for joining us. So thankful.
What's going on, guys?
Thanks for having us.
So great. First off, can we go back to a couple days ago, just with the win at the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Championship that we all tune into every year? You know, what was that like? It was your 9th victory, right? Your 9th victory?
Yep, it was my 10th year back. I missed one. I was still there because instead of competing, they had me serve as a commentator when I was 36 weeks pregnant. But yes, 9 belts, the 9th belt, and undefeated still.
God, that's incredible. That's incredible. What about you, Nick? I mean, first off, how did you guys meet? Nick's been doing this for 6 years. You know, Miki, how long have you been doing this?
On the pro circuit from since 2013. Yeah, April 2013.
So we actually we met at the gym at about 5 in the morning of the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest in 2018. It's the most like on-brand thing possible. And I had a photographer awkwardly following me around at the gym, and she came up and introduced herself as the 4-time champ. Because normally she's really focused and or antisocial, however you want to put it. And she had to take a picture with me for social media, and of course, as just a scrub who was there for the first time, and she was the 4-time champ, of course. Fast forward to a handful of months later, we had a mutual friend that was like, "You guys should maybe chat and talk to each other." And I thought she wasn't going to give me the time of day, but fast forward 4 years later, and we're here. So.
That's great. That is incredible. I have so many questions just about, you know, obviously about how you guys do what you do. And you know, we saw Miki, that you had 48 and a half hot dogs as your record, right? And I was seeing you want to get to that 50 number. It's kind of like the number you want to get to. Can you talk about that? You know, just mentally, what's it like for you? You know, when you're eating that many hot dogs and buns, don't forget you got to eat the buns too. When you get to the point of like the number you want to get to, like when does it start to get hard?
I mean, I hate to admit it, it was pretty rough for me from minute 1. I was just completely flustered by the new competitor to my right. And I allowed that to get the best of me. Physically, probably really difficult around the 6 or 7 minute mark, I'd say. And it's the hot dogs and buns, but you can't forget the water too. We dunked the buns in water, and that half gallon or gallon, depending on what you drink, that can be another 4-8 pounds or more.
I was watching, Case, I didn't tell you this. I was watching Sports Science. ESPN used to do this thing, and they basically built a stomach. And they jammed in hot dogs and water. I think they did it to Joey Chestnut's record. And what happened was the stomach like just kept expanding. And they said at the end of it that in 10 minutes, your stomach goes from 0 to basically like being 9 months pregnant. Is that a fact? And like, are you sitting there like with like just A bowl. Both of you guys can answer that one at the end.
I'm probably like the only person in the world who can compare being 9 months pregnant to eat 48 and a half.
I will say, when she was close to 9 months pregnant and I was eating at the hot dog contest, I wasn't allowed to compare those things. I didn't. I'm like, no, you definitely feel worse. I feel completely fine right now.
I saw too that you're not just dipping it in water. Don't you have like a little concoction you have? It's not really water.
I do. It's warm strawberry, orange, banana flavored drink mix. I'd say Crystal Light, but I just buy the Great Value brown. No, but I mean, there's something about that flavor that just like it signals to me hot dogs, 4th of July, and victory. I've tried and it just doesn't work.
What do you know? Like I saw, the other day, your competitor to the right. You could tell you guys were neck and neck towards the end. Do you know? Do you see the counter? Do you know how many where you guys are at? And do you keep count in your mind as you're doing it?
I do. So from what it looks like from on stage is right in front of us, we have the official refs that are doing the count, and they have a paper sign that they flip, which signals to the counter behind me. The gentleman in the, strap tank tops, flipping cards. So I see that. I see the count, but it's still unofficial. And because we eat in multiples of 5, every plate is 5 hot dogs. I know that once I clear a plate, my count should be a multiple of 5. When that's off, I knew that it wasn't completely accurate, but it was close, and I think it made for some great TV.
It was great TV. It was great TV, for real. It was really.
I knew how it was going to end, but it was so exciting watching back.
It was not great TV watching it from the back. I know, because good, bad. I'm trying not to yell because I know I have to go eat hot dogs.
That's what you want, though. You want the crowd invested.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I thought that was awesome to watch, and she gave it her all. She showed our contest, our event, so much respect for the hard work that she put into practice and preparation, and it showed. She fought so hard from wire to wire, and I cannot wait to see what she does next year. And I'm going to be pushing harder. Instead of letting her distract me, I'm going to use that to really fuel me for higher numbers next year.
Nice.
Wow. Can you talk about that a little bit? I am so interested in about the work that goes into this. Obviously nobody's just showing up and doing what you guys are doing. It's phenomenal. Can you talk about the training? What does the training look like? If you're gonna go to the July 4th event with the Nathan's Eating Hot Dog, what does the training look like? When does it start? When do you start preparing for that? And what are you doing?
That's tough I would say it's slightly different for all of us because we do have different genetic predisposals and then just mental aspects to it. So I'm of the camp of I'd rather do too much than too little. So I started hot dog practices in late January, early February, almost bi-weekly, which makes calorie balances and stuff really hard. So you're not 700 pounds. But I'll do that leading all the way up into an either increase or decrease frequency based off of how they're doing. So I'll basically trying to emulate contest conditions as closely as possible. 5 dogs to a plate, cook up 40, 50 plus hot dogs, have our dunking liquid, play a past broadcast on. I know I have my Gatorades because that flavor is going to signal just like anybody else. And I'm very much the details, very detail oriented of what can I change, and we can record the practices, see where did you mess up? What's going wrong here? Did you kind of almost get too, for me, my problem is I can get too amped up and kind of by the time the contest comes, I'm not focused on what I'm doing in minute 1 and minute 2. With her, it's a little bit different, because obviously there's 9 of these bad boys hanging in the dining room. He's more stay relaxed. I'm sure, Sean, you saw when you played, there's some guys who have to be just amped to the gills.
Yeah.
And guys who, if they're relaxed and smiling, you're in trouble. And that is, if he's relaxed and bouncing around going into contests we go into, I'm happy, but I'm oh, she's going to take me to the cleaners today.
How stressful was that for you, Nick, when, the internet exploded, which just tells you how much people love what you guys do as athletes, and it exploded because they said that it was canceled. The men's were canceled. Take us backstage and what was going on in those, what was it, hours?
So I'm we tie, like I said, I'm a big stickler for detail. So about 45 minutes prior to the men's contest, I'll take a copious amount of caffeine that I wouldn't condone
So what is it? How much? What would you do? 7 Red Bulls?
So let's say hypothetically the equivalent of maybe like 2 Bang energy drinks at once, two and a half. Again, non-condonable. Maybe I didn't do that, but hypothetically I did. So I'm getting ready because I need to dial. It also clears my nasal passages. That many stimulants, so I can breathe a little bit better. And then maybe 15 minutes later, it starts to torrential downpour, and the sky opens up, and they're kind of telling us like, well, for now it's delayed. And at this point, I don't know if I'm shaking from the caffeine or anger.
It was really pleasant to be around.
So
I'm just looking at him with this look of incredulity.
and I know there's a lot of stories going around of like Chestnut rallied the troops, says we're going to get the guys and go out there and do this thing. I actually went to Joey immediately. Joey was sitting down in the back, and I'm like, you and I will go eat in the rain. I'll go get struck by lightning. But the past 364 days have gone into this. You and I will go eat in the rain. And he was completely on board because a lot of guys are kind of sitting there like a deer in the headlights. They don't know where this is going to go. Right. And I've been talking to Joey all year, but I'm like, no, July 4th is for eating hot dogs, even if that means I get struck by lightning. And Joey's a little bit taller than me, so realistically, he would probably get it. We were ready to go. It was very stressful. Thankfully, they were able to kind of get things to go off without a hitch. With that said, I think it may have affected the numbers slightly. We're all dealing with the same thing, but like no different than a rain delay in baseball. It's like sometimes it's really hard to kind of get back into mentally where you were at that point, because your body even starts to go like, wait a minute, I was all kind of amped up and kind of lock up.
Yeah, well, those routines are so important, right? I know exactly what you're saying. You got the routine set to the T, to the minute, when I'm going to get out there, when you're going to take the field, and all of a sudden that gets rattled. That becomes a little unnerving. Miki, you said something that I really loved. You said something in a past interview that I saw. When things get difficult, you kind of say "good" to yourself. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Oh, someone could probably say it far more articulately than myself, but it's just when things test you, I mean, whether that's in hot dogs or in life, good. It just gives you an opportunity to distinguish yourself from everybody else who's going to fall by the wayside. Yeah. If it's tough, great. It's tough for everybody. They'll give up. I'll keep on going, and that's going to set me apart.
I think that's one of the things that sets her and I apart. Again, she'd be on the Mount Rushmore of what we do, so I'm not quite putting myself there, but we train. We're at the highest level because one of the best things we've heard and we try to go by is like, you don't rise to the occasion, you fall to the level of your training. So if things are rough, like if you've trained for it and made it as miserable as possible, you'll be ready to go.
I love that. Can you talk about that too? Stick on that, Nick, because you guys are both. You just think if I closed my eyes and said we're going to have two of the greatest competitive eaters on here, I'd think, and then I open my eyes and go, whoa! They're both in incredible shape. They're both jacked. They're both obviously take care of themselves. Can you talk about that? What's the training like? How do you guys look the way you look with the way that you eat?
We sound psychotic and intense now that I think about it. Poor Max.
No, but so Miki's more like we're in the gym between 4 and 7 days a week, depending on the time of year. It's kind of cyclical. Miki's obviously more cardio and things like that, a little bit of like resistance training. I was a competitive bodybuilder for 10 years before I did this.
Wow. And I knew it.
Yeah. I was about 40 pounds heavier than I am now. So I look more like a G.I. Joe before now, like some of my dad's overs. But I think one of the strengths I bring to the table, or we both bring, is that this hurts. That doesn't matter because you're working. Like, it's going to hurt, and that's okay. And knowing that difference, and that's what bodybuilding really taught me, is like, realistically, the worse you feel, the better you're probably doing. And in what we do now, it's an 8 to 12 minute sprint, depending on the contest. But being able to take that pain or discomfort and push it to the side. Or I can assure you that the 50th hot dog doesn't taste quite as good as the first one. To ignore that feeling, I think is going to be a big separator down the stretch. And because you'll see guys who maybe eat 30 in the first half of the contest, they only eat 10 the second half. Now, you're not going to keep the pace regardless because of space. But some of that isn't because of space, it's because of flavor fatigue. It's that tolerance for like this is getting a lot of sodium. So I think the mental training is equally as important. Physically, we like to stay in shape because we feel better for the 8 to 12 minutes that we're eating. We don't have that belt of kind of visceral fat to kind of contain and squish in on the actual organ of the stomach. So it's really all around trying to attack it from every single angle. Because if you just depend on, let's say, talent, like we compete with like a Gideon Oji who's 6'8", so his torso is like a football field. You'll be very good, but you're going to run into somebody with passion and they're going to bury you.
Wow. It's amazing the science of this whole thing. It's incredible. Like, no, seriously.
Seriously.
Yeah, it's amazing. What do you guys eat? What's your diet look like in between starts?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that was another thing that really, I don't know, brought us together is even though we lived on opposite coasts, the contents of our refrigerator might as well have been identical. We both, from his bodybuilding, me just because I for preferencing, but we both have boneless, skinless chicken breasts cooked up at all times, and obviously now under the same roof. So lots of lean protein, fresh produce. Nick likes eggs and oatmeal. I like non-fat plain Greek yogurt, but it's just a lot of, I don't know, probably like a 15 ingredient grocery list between the two of us. Mm-hmm. Simple, boring, healthy.
Other than the baby stuff, which he eats primarily what we do now, but it's, people would say it was incredibly boring. If they looked in our fridge, the kale, avocado, boneless, skinless, apples, bananas, blee, blee, blah, blee. Right. But with that said, it's like we have to balance that out. You know, like it's no different than a financial budget. If you're going to take those vacations of like 15,000 calories in 10 minutes, you better balance that or your bank account's going to take a beating. And we do that, 1, to be healthy, 2, because we enjoy it, but 3, because it's part of our job and it makes us more proficient at the job.
Wow. Can you talk about the discipline? I mean, there's so much. I mean, I'm going to talk to you guys. There's so much. I mean, obviously see how the discipline in your life, like what like when you are getting into this, you know, when you're leading up to a competition, like the discipline that you guys have to have to have that lifestyle right on to make sure that you're doing everything you can when the bell rings.
Yeah. I mean,
I think sometimes even balancing the interviews leading up to the contest, keeping a smile on, keeping my points in order, all while thinking about the contest. That for me is a true test of my ability to balance things.
Yeah,
you want to be in the moment, you want to appreciate everything, but I don't know. I'm always analyzing the competition. Yeah,
that, and we're also balancing a 2-year-old. Max turns 2 in a few days, and doing that we're balancing the travel, when we're going to get in, the meal we're going to do, maintaining the diet. We both like to be a little bit lighter going into contests, so the meals are carefully planned as they can be when you're traveling. Still being able to hit the gym, whether we're in Des Moines, Iowa, or New York City or Toronto. Still trying to get practices in regarding or like that are similar to the food that we're going to be eating. The craziness of what we do is not lost on us. You know, we copious amounts of food, which is, my guy didn't tell me this was an option. This is a pretty cool game. Like, I thought I was going to be doing what you did when I was like, any, you know, real athletic ability. But we also take it incredibly serious, because what we do is, I think anything done at an elite level, and that's what I really appreciated from like Japanese competitors that came over, the massive amount of respect for anything done at an elite level. It's like any world-class level doesn't only take some talent, but an immense amount of try. And that's really cool to see that. And I think we both want to be the best in the world at what we do. And so it's going to take detail, like minutia.
Yeah. What made you want to get into this? Like, what was it? What was the moment you're like, that's what I want to do?
The belts.
Belts are superior to trophies. You know, I think all of us love food, but that's just an easy interview answer. Right. I think it got me into because you can love hot dogs. It's not going to make you a top competitive eater on that stage. Sorry, but No, for me, it started because I was always looking for that next crazy, fun, exciting thing to do. I've been skydiving. I've been, I love snowboarding. I've hiked Machu Picchu. But anyway, so one of the things that I decided to give a shot was a 12-pound bowl of pho. And that kind of like, why not? Let's try things. Attitude is what put me on this crash course with competitive eating. And then I realized that there was a competitive circuit. Now, I was that 12-year-old that wanted to make dodgeball a blood sport when I went to school. I mean, that's just who I am. So this let's try things and then let's kill it attitude. That's kind of just what spiraled into this career. I think it's kind of no accident that it's no coincidence that the other girl who kind of had my sort of personality became a badass shot calling attorney. For having a competitive, confrontational, sort of, disagreeable nature. Yeah. Mine just manifested in bulldozing people with hot dogs.
And the fact that it's very fun to watch, because they're like, what's it like being a female in a male-dominated competitive eating world? She doesn't care.
No.
She doesn't.
She's bulldozing anyone.
Just get out. Even the day after Max was born, they're like, at the hospitals, you need to tell her she needs to lay down and relax. I'm like, you can go ahead and tell her that. I'm going to stay over here because I'm going to get strangled with an IV if I go tell her that. So that is that for her. And largely, I played baseball growing up, baseball and football. And I love that competitive outlet. But I lacked, the ability or the mindset to play, at the collegiate level. So then I took up bodybuilding. And that became really my passion for basically 24/7 detail-oriented psychosis. I was the best human on the planet. Gained 70 pounds doing that, competed a handful of times, absolutely adored it. And when that was over, my appetite became a running joke, and somebody encouraged me to do an eating contest. And I won. We raised money for charity, and I got free donuts. Pretty deal.
I've made it.
I have officially made it. And that kind of spiraled to the point where my first professional contest, it was a mistake. I thought it was an amateur contest that I was signing up for, and I placed 5th among 16 professionals.
Wow.
And I had competed in a bodybuilding contest 3 weeks prior, and some of the people there are like, you might think about trying this.
Wow.
You just kind of lumbered up here and did this. And it kind of found me. And I love the fact that it's not on anybody else. Yeah. If I win, lose, or anything, it's me. Somebody can't mess it up for me. And again, that competitive nature, I was the kid losing at mini golf, and people are like, you don't need to get mad. I'm like, I'm not mad. This is fine. I'm not angry. Meanwhile, I'm about to snap the club in half because I just 4-putted on a par 2 at a mini golf. So, our competitive nature is probably the biggest thing.
Wait, Nick, you said you're a huge baseball fan. Well, we learned something about your fandom. Who do you root for?
I am a huge Cincinnati Reds fan.
Let's go, baby.
Reds fan. I grew up watching Sean. I remember I remember the season in particular where Sean was hitting around 390 around the All-Star break.
Yeah.
He's going to do it. I remember convincing
that was 2004, yeah.
Yeah, the Adam Dunn, Austin Kearns years, exciting, those guys coming up. All the years I've watched Cincinnati, from the crushing playoff loss to the Phillies, where there was just that nasty rotation when we played that. I have loved watching you, Ken Griffey Jr., all the way now to watching Ellie De La Cruz come up and hopefully bringing some success to what's probably the tail end of Votto's career.
Yeah.
This is amazing. So getting to talk to you, I've been trying to be completely normal, but my foot's probably shaking completely.
That's so great, dude. I appreciate that so much. And yeah, you're right, man. If you're ever going to be a Reds fan, this is the time to be a Reds fan. They are absolutely loaded, and this is a fun team to watch.
Oh, 100%, man.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I got one of the final questions I want to ask you guys, which I think is incredible, is when I go down and look at all the food that Miki, that you have eaten, 212 chicken buffalo wings, 605 sausages in 10 minutes, 83 pierogies, gyros, can you just talk about like what's is there certain different techniques? Like, how do you learn the techniques to eat a gyro, or chicken wing, or, you know what I mean? Like, can you talk about that a little bit? Like, how do you eat that many in such a short amount of time?
Yeah, because the different foods definitely test different skill sets. I mean, something like a chili contest is basically going to be shoveling food in your mouth, and whoever has the most real estate is generally going to win. You just have to be able to handle the flavor fatigue. Something like a chicken wing or a baby back rib is going to require technique and speed and efficiency because they weigh the food before and after. So it's not necessarily that you have to eat clean, but you have to make every split second count. And it's kind of funny because I the Buffalo Wing Contest, I've won that multiple times, and actually including the last 2 years in a row. Nick just won the Make-A-Wish Foundation Wings for Wishes Buffalo Eating Contest Championship. Yeah. So it's just a lot of wings and wings.
So technically, I have the more recent wing eating title.
That's great.
Yeah, that'll be fun. We'll be they'll have another showdown over this Labor Day weekend. What else?
It's really just like a practice like you play type of deal with a lot of these things, because it's going to be very different doing something like hot dogs. I think that's one of the different things with hot dogs. You have two textures. Mm-hmm. It's not just eating brat, right, or something like that. We're separating them for efficiency purposes. But earlier this year, we did pistachios in Santa Monica at the pier, and we had to separate the pistachios, eat them. So like the little finger dexterity, like I think PlayStation and years of bodybuilding calloused hands helped me win this lovely title here.
Let's go, dude.
Championship. That was 188 in 10 minutes. People, or 188 in 8 minutes, but shelling 188 pistachios in 8 minutes, I can assure you, is probably more difficult than actually eating them.
I'm sure that messes with your mind, having to crack them, go.
Those little thin ones, you're like, no, throw it away.
I'm in this. I can't abandon it now.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Well, guys, this has been incredible for Chinch and I. We're so grateful you guys took the time to come on with us, and we wish you both the best of luck, and down the road, I'm sure many more belts to come in that household, and hopefully many more kids too. Maybe many more belts, many more kids. You guys plan on having any more kids?
You never know. You never say never. Like Max is amazing. He's about to turn 2, and they're the greatest thing in the world.
His birthday is tomorrow. I can't believe it's already been 2 years. Yeah, oh my God, it's so much fun.
We will probably be for Cincinnati Oktoberfest. We will be there for the Bratwurst Eating Championship.
Oh, great!
Check it out. Last year I ate 70. I think Mickey ate 60 of them in 8 minutes.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible, man. So great. All right, guys, thank you so much. Appreciate the time. We'll see you guys down the road. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys.
Bro, that was awesome. I had so many more questions I wanted to ask. Like, I remember eating 83 wings one time in high school. I couldn't go to school for 2 days. My mom was like, you got to get up for the bus. I was like, I ate 83 wings last night. Gooch ate 82, and I can't move. I feel ill.
Yeah, well, you know what else? I didn't ask Nick. He once ate 50 hard-boiled eggs in 3 minutes and 4 seconds, but I almost didn't want to say that out loud because it almost makes me want to puke just saying 50 hard-boiled eggs in 3 minutes. But, dude, I'm glad you think about it. They are professional athletes. There is no question about that. First of all, the intros at the hot dog eating contest, it looked like WWE intros, like Monday Night Raw, because all these dudes and the ladies are shredded and in great shape, and it was great hearing, this is legit. That's not a joke. Like, you said it perfectly. Like, you would expect it to be like a bigger, let's just say, bigger boned folks would be good at this, but these guys are they're shredded. He's talking about his abs and all that.
Well, the way Nick was talking about the science of it, just like how you eat, and then think about how clean they eat in the fridge. They got hard boiled eggs, they got avocados, they got kale, they got salad, they got they're training to put their body in optimal position to be able to digest the food they digest. So it's incredible, and also too the bodybuilding part of it with Nick. I mean, dude, those guys are animals as far as what they eat, how they sleep, how they work out, every body part, every muscle they have in their body, they know. So they know their bodies so well. So to me, it's no surprise that Nick is a really good competitive eater too, for, how smart how dialed he in is to his body and how it works.
Yeah. We got to make this a yearly thing. We should have him on every year if they'll.
That would be awesome, dude. That would be awesome.
Cool.
I'm so glad.
What a great couple. What cool people.
Yeah, what cool people, man. It's so cool that Nick was a Reds fan and love how Mickey's, her reaction was, yeah, this is perfect. We'll have him on every time, we'll get him fired up. So that was great, man. I really enjoyed that.
Awesome. All right, man. So big weekend. We're going to have a nice weekend going into the weekend thinking about eating hot dogs. I'm going to have some hot dogs this weekend.
Dude, I'm going to have some hot dogs, but just like one or two. I can't imagine. I'm not dipping the bun in strawberry lemonade, juice. You got to be kidding me.
Nice. All right, bro.
So good. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Have a great weekend. Eat your hot dogs, burgers, wings, whatever you want. Chinch, have a great weekend by the pool, man. I'll see you Monday.